Thanks for returning. As I said in the last taping, I was having a series of dreams and visions during this time when everything was so good in our lives in Wimberley, Texas. And these visions and dreams that I was having, they were really a little different. I started, after this initial dream that I had that I just shared with you in the prior taping, I started dreaming about these temples, these like pyramids. And I thought, oh God, Egypt. I really pay attention to my dreams and my visions. But I started dreaming about these rock pyramid temple-like places. And one of the dreams that I had early on during this time was I was out of body. And the first dream that I had, I was approaching this hole in the earth. And this hole in the earth was being excavated by a team of archaeologists, I suppose. And I had the good fortune to be there in my dream, and I descended these stairs that went down underground. And I suppose there were about 25 stairs that led to just this landing, and then more stairs went further down. That was the first dream that I had, and I noticed that there were carvings on these stones as I was going down underground. And I have to say, I don't really recall what those carvings were, only that they looked very, very old. The next dream that I had, I was at the same place. And each time that I had this same dream, I think 3 or 4 times, it had been excavated more. So I was able to walk down further and further and further until the final dream that I had that had a message accompanied with it. The last dream that I had about this, I was standing at this opening that had been enlarged. With each dream that I had, the opening to these stairs that went underground became larger and larger. And the final dream that I had, I'm standing on the edge of this hole in the ground, basically. And I looked down, and I suppose it must have been, oh, I don't know how far underground it was. It was really, really, really far underground. That there was an entire city that had been discovered underground. And it was unbelievably beautiful. It radiated a light, a golden light. There was like the city had, it was a source in and of itself. I mean, it had this energy, this light source that illuminated the entire city, and it was a golden light. It was the most spectacular thing you can imagine, to stand above the earth and look down onto this city. And they were all these pyramids and these temples and these kind of pyramid structures. I received a message with this dream, and the message whispered in my ear, this being whispered in my ear, they just haven't dug deep enough yet. So I have a full expectation that something like this exists, that we just haven't dug deep enough. Along with these dreams that I was having, I started seeing in my waking hours, with my eyes wide open and not meditating or sleeping, I started seeing these pyramids, lots of different variations of these stone temple structures. I also saw this huge wheel. It was gold. It was an enormous round wheel or wheel-shaped kind of plate. And it had the image of a man kind of reclining and holding this pot in his hand. And I saw that almost every day. That would flash before my eyes as I was working or cooking or whatever I was doing around the inn or the house. Then I saw this other wheel or wheel-shaped object. These things were enormous that I saw. This one was sort of a pewter color, and it had these bands about spaces, like I would say about this big. They had these bands around, you know, around this big plate or this big wheel. Just band on band on band, you know, for as far out as this thing existed. And the bands, each band, which was a circle, had these little bitty segments. And in each segment, there was some sort of a symbol or something that looked maybe like a number, maybe not like numbers like we have, but some sort of symbols in each segment. And each band moved. So when you positioned each band, and there were, I don't know how many bands, and each segment, I was told this by this being. This being said, this represents all that is. So I'm seeing these big plate-like, round, wheel-like things, and these underground cities. So I start Googling some of this stuff, you know, just putting in Google terms, and I start researching. As I'm doing my research, I'll tell you what happens in the next taping. Thanks for watching.